Welcome to Unapologetically Meg, the podcast where cleaner living meets real life. Your host, Meg, is a mom on a mission, clean living advocate, and firm believer that small choices create big change. Some might call her passionate. She calls it unapologetic. Around here, we talk about real wellness, not perfection, not what the industry sells us, just honest conversations, practical swaps, personal stories, and everyday ways to take back control of your health, one choice at a time. If you're ready to live more intentionally, think differently, and raise your standards for what you allow in your life and your home, you're in the right place. Reminder, this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered medical advice. Always consult with your doctor or qualified health professional for questions about your health. So let's get into it.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Unapologetically Meg. I am Meg, and I have Dr. Mason here with me today from Innate Health Solutions here in Prosper, Texas. So welcome. His logo is helping people heal naturally, which I am all about. So Dr. Mason is our family chiropractor and has really introduced me to a lot of things that we'll talk about today. So obviously chiropractic care, we'll talk about the phototherapy patches and stem cell exosomes and kind of wherever else that leads to. So thank you for being here. Let's first start with kind of an introduction. How did you become a chiropractor? Fill me in.
Yeah, thanks. So out of high school, just like most other kids, I had no idea what I wanted to do at all. I was always very, athletic, lean build, and I enjoyed sports and gym and everything like that, but I didn't know where that was going to take me. So I went to community college, and then I joined a athletic training class, and that's where I really started to fall in love with just the human body and helping those athletes and learning everything in there. But as much as I enjoyed that, athletic training, either you're at high school, college level, or you're, NFL level, and the pay gap in those levels are pretty extreme, right? So either you're the best or, you're kind of just stuck at
Rethink this here.
well, yeah. So I knew I love that just from my experience there. And then my mom was like, why don't you try the PT path while in college? And so I was like, all right, let's check that out. So I went down that path for a little bit in college, and I started shadowing some places, and I was like, this sucks. Like I hate this. Like maybe it was just the place that I was at, but like nobody in there was happy. Everybody was miserable. The people in there were miserable, and I just saw them doing the same things over and over again. And like I didn't really see much progress for those people, honestly. But my mom or my stepmom was going to see a chiropractor pretty much right across the street for an issue that she was having. And I had kind of known about chiropractic before. A close family friend went through schooling, and I had kind of gone when I was younger. I didn't fully know everything, but I asked, like, can I come shadow this guy instead? And he said, yeah. And when I was shadowing him, everybody in there was happy that, like, they told him, or they told me how he changed their life or helped with this specific, huge issue. I saw canes on the wall that he had helped people get off from
That's cool.
a cane or a walker. He was happy. He was loving it. He was just a chill guy. But everybody that came in there was like, he's helped me so much with this, or this issue. And it just felt like it was way more my speed and what I wanted to do in helping people actually, heal from different things. And so I had one of the best, like probably the best school in the world for chiropractic right in my backyard out in California in the East Bay, called Life Chiropractic College. So that's where I graduated from. And there I learned so much. Not necessarily in the school. I did learn a lot, but what I use now is I gained that knowledge from people that would come to the school. So everything I do now, I learned outside of school, but I had access to those people.
Hands-on experience. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Real life, I guess. Yeah. Oh, well, very cool. And I had no idea you're from the East Bay. We'll have to talk about that offline.
Yeah.
So my journey into chiropractic care was when I was pregnant with Maeve. I really hadn't even thought about using a chiropractor prior to that, and then learned about like the Webster certified chiropractic and the support that it does for being pregnant. So for those of the mamas out there, I encourage you to, kind of do your research, see if there's a Webster certified chiropractor around you. But I'm just going to highlight some of the benefits in terms of that with regards to pelvic alignment, reduces, the discomfort during pregnancy, and it really creates optimal space for the baby, kind of prepares the body for birth. So that was my first introduction, obviously continued with it since then. But both of my kids also started chiropractic care at 3 days old. I would love to have done it sooner, but that was the first time I could get in. But, again, just learning about the benefits with babies too. And obviously there's a lot of trauma with them being in the belly and going through birth, and the pressure on like the spine and neck, learning about, for those that want to breastfeed, that it does help with latching, colic, gas, digestive discomfort, sleep patterns, like so many things. And so again, my knowledge just kept growing in terms of what chiropractic care can do. And I'm all about, any type of preventative health that we can do to kind of keep our bodies in line. And so I've really, I guess, gained a different knowledge about chiropractors, and really appreciate what y'all do. But I will say that your chiropractic care is very different than what I have used with other chiropractors. So the whole zone therapy was very new to me. So I'd love for you to explain what that is, why it's maybe a little bit different, and how it helps.
Yeah. So if you know about chiropractic in general should be about the spine and actually the nervous system. Chiropractic itself has given itself, that's how it started, was nervous system based care, right? But it has kind of evolved, especially once insurance got involved, as more of a neck and back pain care.
Right.
So if you think about the spine and the brain and all the nerves that come out, all those nerves are going to organs or skin and tissue and cells. It's all involved through your brain and your spinal cord. And that's exactly what we deal with. Now, zone care is a little bit more specific to the brain. So zone says that there's 6 different systems of the body, each having different parts in the brain that control these different systems. And what can happen is they become unbalanced for whatever reason. Typically, it's what we call the 3 T's. So there's been a trauma, whether it's a physical trauma or like one big trauma, little micro traumas, or just trauma physically. Then there is toxins. So this is chemical imbalance, whether it's environmental toxins or nutrition's not right, things of that nature. And then there's toxins, traumas, and then toxins, traumas, and then thoughts. So most people don't understand how thoughts and emotions kind of rule over the body. I would say that's probably the biggest one, actually. So those 3 things can set a zone out of balance, or just the body in general. And the 6 different zones of the body are emotions, what am I talking about? Glandular, which are caused by emotions, but glandular system, eliminative system, nervous system, digestive system, muscular, and then circulation. So zone says, that covers everything in the body. And there's very specific segments in the spine that when we figure it out, what's going on, what's imbalanced, will adjust or stimulate the spine to reset that brain center. Then that brain center can send the proper signals to the glandular system and, the thyroid and the pancreas and the reproductive glands, everything in the glands, right? What can happen, like I said, emotions sometimes are tied to that. So with the glandular system, for example, sometimes these people have they've lost kind of their sweetness for life. They've just kind of blah through life. What can happen with the alimentative system, sometimes there was a massive change in their life that, they didn't quite process fully, that really affected them. Nervous system is very much fear-based. It's a lot of fear and tension can affect the nervous system. Digestive, which involves the liver, the stomach, the gallbladder, intestines. That's a lot of frustration, anger, especially the liver. Muscle system, that can be like if there's a lot of, you feel like the weight of the world is on you. So shoulders, lower back, just a lot of pressure that you're feeling internally. And then circulation can be like somebody or something is trying to stop you from moving forward. They're cutting off your circulation somewhere in your life. So those are the little things that emotionally can affect the body. But the way that we figure out what's imbalanced is there's nerve fibers connected to those systems that I'll press on the back of your head, count them out 1 through 6. Usually the person on the table will tell me like, oh, I really feel like a tenderness on number 3. And usually I can feel it as well, which tells me, hey, your nervous system is imbalanced. And usually the symptoms line up for those people. And then it's just about adjusting and balancing out that system.
It is interesting that, because every time we sit down and you do that, I'm always kind of like, I don't know, it's maybe 4 or 5. You're like, I think it's 5. Like, what do you feel? How do you know? What does it feel like?
Yeah, to me, it's like a raised feeling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a raised or a hardness, and that's how I can tell. Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. So chiropractic care, would you say it's across the board for everybody, or are there specific people that it benefits more?
No, yeah, it's for everybody. If you have a spine and nervous system, it can work. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sure you have a very technical answer to this, but what's optimal? Once a week, twice a week? Does it depend?
It does depend. Unfortunately, most people come to chiropractors or myself
When you feel something.
well, yeah, as a last resort, right?
Yeah.
The pain pills didn't work, the doctor,
Right.
orthopedic, the surgery failed, whatever it is. Unfortunately, we're kind of seen as the last resort, or they just didn't even think about it. So if somebody's coming with more of a chronic issue, maybe twice a week for
Yeah, more often.
twice a week for a couple months, or my initial plan typically for more chronic is twice a week for 6 weeks, and then we'll kind of see from there. But, once a week is great, especially if you're more active, a little bit more stress, if you're more in sports, stuff like that, just to keep your body nice and aligned. Other than that, it kind of just depends. I would say at least once a month is great
Yeah.
for the typical healthy person who just wants to stay at the top of their game.
Right. And so I guess the whole point of us talking about chiropractic care today is I just want people to know that it's out here and the importance of it. And if you're really trying to kind of be proactive and sort of keep your body in check, that's something that I would add to your program, I guess.
Yeah.
So I will, of course, have Dr. Mason's information if you are local. But beyond that, he has introduced to me over the last couple months, I think you've been dripping in my ear for a while, but these phototherapy patches. So how did you get into that and learning about it, and what are they?
So I've been in, and we'll talk about this later, I've been in kind of the stem cell space for
Yes.
the past year. And so I was posting a lot about that, and somebody saw me and said, hey, can we meet for lunch? I have something in the stem cell space that I think you'd really enjoy learning about. So I said, okay. And he just sat me down and talked about his experience and other, customers of his and his mom, and kind of explained the science behind it. And I was like, shoot, sounds good. Sign me up.
Which I'll let you explain. But for me, what I love about it is it's like zero chemicals. It's just using your body to regenerate essentially
Mhm.
things that have been dormant for a while. So I 100%, when he was talking to me about it, I'm like, okay, I need to learn more about this. But okay, explain what they do.
Okay. Yeah. Are you wearing one right now at all? Or
No, I wear mine at night.
okay, that's right.
I should have brought one, huh?
So I just ran out and I have another order, but there's just these little patches about quarter size that you place on your body. And what they do, most people are starting to understand the power of peptides.
Yep.
So what this does when you wear it is reflecting your body's own heat, light, energy source. So think of it like a mirror that's going back into your body to elevate a certain copper peptide called GHKCU. And you can go, I'd encourage you to go look that up. Just all the benefits of it. As we age, we start to produce less of it on our own. So the more we age, the less GHK, the less stem cells. So GHK and stem cell production mobilization goes hand in hand.
Okay.
So that's why we call these the stem cell activating patches, because by I think it's age 30, about half of our stem cell production, they say it goes dormant or it's just not being used as much.
Right.
At age 60, it's about 90%. And so what these do is they just elevate your body's own internal endogenous GHKCU and by proxy stem cell production. So um, with their testing, they noticed GHK also helps turn on to a more youthful state over 4,000 genes. Like exercising, I think does like 2 genes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exercise. This 1/3 of your genome gets reset to a more youthful state just by applying the patch.
Wow.
So, and then by week 6, they noticed better cognition and less inflammation in the brain. They said the brain becomes more balanced. By month 3, your collagen is noticeably internally increased. And so a lot of people, myself included, like I was starting to
Yeah.
thin up here, and 2-3 months, it's still got some work to do, but it's much better. It's honestly much better. So if you want to avoid, minoxidil, finasteride, like who knows what else that's doing to your body, men, women, I would say give it a shot for sure, because it's not just me, but many, many, many people.
Right.
My hair has grown back, and that's not even why they started it. It just as a good effect because it's increasing your circulation, your collagen production. And then by month 6 to 8, they noticed the biological markers of the heart and cardiovascular system was reduced, like it turned back the biological clock by on average 6 to 8 years.
It's crazy. It
Yeah.
really, like, when I see the testimonials of people, and even just like a lot of pain, obviously from inflammation and stuff too, just it's very impressive. And so again, the patches you literally put on for 12 hours. So I'll put it on generally at 8 o'clock at night. And so by 8 in the morning, I'll take it off. So it's just a 12 on, 12 off. But they also have other patches as well. I don't know. I know some glutathione, and what other options are out there?
Yeah, there's quite a bit. So what we were talking about is called the X39. That's kind of our
The
people.
main staple, right?
That's kind of what we call the master patch, because it's just all around. You're going to get good results from it because it is helping with those stem cells. Then there's the X49. That's kind of a sister peptide called AHK. Very similar, but a little bit more along the lines. They call it the fitness patch. So the studies that they did with that one really helped with women with osteoporosis. It stopped the um, bone wasting. And so
Okay.
your bone, usually when osteoporosis happens, like it's wasting more than it's building. And so with the patch, they noticed that that process stopped, and it was more building. So they were able to build stronger bones in aged women who it's becoming increasingly an issue in that area. So X49 helps a lot with collagen, bone, a little bit of cardiovascular as well. Very similar though. Then there's the glutathione. So if you know about glutathione, it is kind of seen as the master antioxidant in the body, helps you detox. A lot of people with the MTFHR
Yes.
gene, which
Yeah.
I have my own thoughts about that, but that gene typically those people have a harder time detoxing, right?
Right.
So especially kids with, more autistic or things like that, that gene isn't quite set, right? So they have a harder time detoxing things. So all you have to do is the same thing, apply it. And in those studies, they noticed when worn for 24 hours, a 300 to 400% increase in glutathione levels, which it's
Crazy.
incredible. Yeah. And then there's the Eon patch. That's the one they call the happy patch. That one's specific for inflammation. I forget the exact peptides for that one,
Mhm.
but that's the one they call the happy patch. X39 and 49, or I'm sorry, X39 and the Eon go very well together.
Mhm.
Just a whole body kind of systemic effect. Um, what else do they have? They have a carnosine. That one is more for mental cognition. So they've seen some pretty good things with Alzheimer's, dementia, brain fog, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. I'm all in. I'm like, age reversal, take me from there.
Yeah, like it's just one of those things. If you're sick, yes, it will have good effects. But why wouldn't you want to actively help your stem cells every
Again, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, for me, it's just being proactive in the approach of anything I do. So yeah.
You want to speak to people's, vanity. It helps with
Yeah.
hair, wrinkles, all that stuff too.
And
So
I obviously don't use Botox or anything. So
right.
that's where I'm like, take it, I'm in. But yeah, so these patches are seriously become so eye-opening for me. And just continue to learn more and more about it, which of course, I'll post information for those that are interested in purchasing them. We do sell them as well. So
And
I'll,
if I could say one thing about that,
yeah,
that's the great thing about the patches too, is you don't have to be a doctor or anything.
right.
Um, Anybody can sell them. It's technically direct sales. So, I mean, I went to school for 5, 6 years. I've gone, all to learn how to help people get better and heal. And here we have, Joe off the street just sharing with his friends
Patches.
and getting just as good, if not even better results than sometimes what I would get.
That's
And so,
crazy.
yeah. So it's for anybody to help anybody.
Options.
Yeah.
Yeah, have options. So another, I guess, tool in your bucket would be the stem cell exosomes, which I know you've talked about. I know there's different options there. So fill me in terms of what you can do and what you're offering and how it's helping people.
Yeah. The exosomes I would place a little bit, just a tiny bit higher than even the patches.
Yeah.
So I think we should start with stem cells. Most people know stem cells, what they are, their function, how they help the body, and can differentiate into the things that the body needs to go help heal. Currently, stem cell treatments in the U.S., as far as I understand, are technically still illegal, not allowed. That's why you hear people going for IVs in Mexico or Panama,
Yeah.
those places. So stem cells, very powerful, but they have their issues. So stem cells still have DNA, and they have cells. So that can kind of cause rejection, in other people's body when you put in foreign things in
Right.
the body. Can cause some issues, where it's donated from. If you go to these other countries, can you totally trust that and stuff like that. So stem cells, and then what they have are exosomes. So when I was in school, I was told exosomes are just cellular garbage, like debris. Of course, the body doesn't make anything garbage, right? That just doesn't make any sense. So the research has come now in the past 5, 10 years. When you put a stem cell in the body, what it does to do the work, all the cellular messengers to go, growth factors and healing signals, come from the exosomes. So stem cell goes in, it opens up, and it releases exosomes, and exosomes are what's doing the work. So we've gone straight to the source of healing and regeneration from stem cells, and these are legal here, and we can do that here. And there's no DNA, there's no cells,
That's interesting.
so there's no chance of rejection. The distributor that I work closely with I think over 12,000 patients in his network have been treated, like zero side effects reported.
I hadn't thought about the whole DNA
Mhm.
aspect with the transplant piece of it. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So I know you have a couple offerings, right? Like you have the IV and you have tinctures.
Correct. Yeah. So if you're local, or if you fly in, we can get you an exosome IV. Incredible. And then we also have sublingual forms, and this is the one we can ship anywhere in the 48 states, the 48 contiguous states. Um, so another differentiation with exosomes. So it's important to know the source of exosomes, because you can get an exosome from any cell, right? So there's adipose, which is fat. There's bone marrow. All these things that people are offering. There's even plant-based exosomes, right? So where are the most potent, powerful sources in the human body? Well, it's placenta
Oh
and
yeah.
it's umbilical, because if you think about it, that's creating life for 9 months, right?
Yeah.
It's got everything. So that's where we source it from. And they're US based labs, heavily regulated on the donor side. Um, and not from aborted fetal tissue, anything. Everything's donated, everything's thoroughly checked, gets tested multiple times. And what's cool about between stem cells and exosomes is the stem cells, maybe if you'll go get an IV, you'll get like 200 million, 300 million, something like that. Our max dose placental one as of right now is 100 billion placental. Yeah. So just tons of power and regeneration signals and anti-inflammation signals in the body. And then pair that with sublinguals, which is we get from umbilical based for right now. You just spray that under your tongue, so it's sublingual. And you would think, well, does that really work? Yeah, it does, because we've had people with severe, ulcerative colitis do
Oh,
just a 5-week supply, and he's back to, he wasn't able to, he would barely be able to eat anything, no spicy food, no alcohol, or else he's throwing up, on the toilet for hours. 5 weeks in, he's back to all that.
and does he stay on it? Is that something that you would continue doing or kind of wean off?
No, I think he's totally good off those 5 weeks. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Awesome.
But we've had so many stories of just people who are super sick, like super sick. I had one lady that was sick for 4 years. She barely left her house. Uh,
Wow.
we do think it was probably breast implant illness related.
Oh, that's a whole other story.
Yeah. So I saw that you had
For another day.
I saw you had the thermography guy last
Yes,
night.
yeah.
So that's a very important for women too. But just to know that if you are having high inflammation and you can't seem to find the source, if you have breast implants, it's going to affect your body.
And he did say that those with breast implants, it's good for thermography also because they can really detect the heat there too.
Right, right. But yeah,
Very
she was so sick, and then after getting an IV and sublinguals, that she was back to her life in about a month and a half.
Did she explant the breast?
She did, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so stem cells, exosomes, and then I know you also, or I've been seeing recently the LNAD plus.
Mhm.
Tell me about this.
So most people know NAD as like
Yes.
but you can get it through IV. You can get them through intramuscular injections or sometimes powder pill form. The problem with pills is usually they're just eaten up by the digestive system before, so the bioavailability isn't good with the pills. Or IV too. I didn't realize this. When you get an IV of NAD plus, or even the precursors, that really only spikes your blood plasma levels. And it's not actually getting intracellularly where it really needs to do the work. So that's kind of been an issue, because NAD itself is kind of an unstable and big molecule that has a hard time getting into your cells. So a lot of people, when they get an IV, maybe they felt like the head rush and maybe some good energy. but it's short-lived because it isn't getting where it needs to be. It's like a quick high in your bloodstream. So there's a new process that just came out called lathmization. So it's liposomal. You've probably heard liposomal.
Sure.
Liposomal micronization. So what they did is it shrinks down the molecule, makes it more stable, and it's just a powder that you mix in water. So this process allows it to get into the cells where it needs to be. So in their testing they did, they verified 100% of the people responded, and they had a 52% increase in intracellular NAD in 5 days. And over 60 days, they call it the 60-day cellular reset, they had a 200 to 300% increase in 60 days.
Wait, and it's a powder that you put in water and drink.
Yep.
Wow.
And so with the 60-day reset, I don't know if you can have overlays in the video, but there's a pretty impressive video with a guy with Parkinson's, tremors and inability he would get stuck moving. And after the 60 days, just like his tremors were gone, and his sit to stand tests were incredible. And it was like, he was a whole new person just from the 60-day reset.
Wow.
So in the 60 days, it's 21,000 milligrams of true intracellular NAD. And if you're going to go spend and get 21,000 milligrams at like an IV, it's about $1 per milligram. So you're going to be spending
quite a bit,
18 to 24 grand, anywhere around there. You can get the $21,000 for anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 with the 60-day reset.
Who do you suggest using that?
That's something that I'm kind of trying to figure out. I think people, yeah, we have it as a whole regenerative protocol with the exosome IV, the sublegals, and that, because what we say is the exosomes have all the regenerative signals, and then the NAD kind of charges up your cells to be able to function better. So they go hand in hand. But with this, I would say with the NAD, I think a lot of people who are having more cognitive issues, possibly with the brain fog, the fatigue, maybe, the dementia, those kinds of things.
Right.
But they are seeing really good things with like, I think he said lupus and, systemic inflammation type stuff. And what else was the other one? Oh, there was a lady that had a pretty nasty bowel resection surgery, and the doctor said, okay, you're going to probably be in the trenches for the next 3 to 4 months as you're recovering. She did the NAD, and the nurse was like, what are you doing? Because you're pretty much all better in 4 weeks. So it went from a 3 to 4 month recovery to 4 weeks.
That's huge.
Yeah.
There's so many more options, I feel like, available lately. And maybe this has been around longer, but at least to my knowledge, just a lot more options out there that are way more natural. Again, still taking this preventative, proactive approach to, I love it. Thank you for introducing all this to me. It's so interesting. And I'm sure there's so much more that you could go on and on about.
Yeah.
But I wanted to end, as I'm ending all of my episodes, with my guest giving one unapologetic tip. Like I've said, it can be literally anything that you would say. If I were to give one piece of advice to add to your day or to not do on a daily basis, here's what it would be. It could be something so simple. But what would your one unapologetic tip be?
I think it's definitely
narrow it down to one. I know you have so many.
It's definitely stay curious in your health, because I think more and more people are starting to, I think COVID especially, like really made people like, wait, should I do this? I think just a lot of people are just so trusting of the establishment, unfortunately. But it's incredible to me when people just they don't ask questions about their health. Like, why is this happening? Not just, okay, I'm just going to run to the store and get a pharmaceutical, but why am I experiencing this? Is it my teeth? Is it my breast implants? Is it
Right.
that thing that they inject? Just be open and stay curious about what your own health. Ask questions. Ask your doctor why. I think more and more people are starting to realize that, but you have a choice in your own health. Like, stay curious and ask questions.
There are options. So if you need options, because I know some people, like I've been in this sort of holistic mindset for a while now, and I have all these relationships with doctors like yourself and Dr. Sean and so on. So some might not have that same network. So if you are wanting to be more curious and are unsure where to turn to, I'm here for you. Dr. Mason's here for you. So reach out to us and we'll help in any way possible. So thank you, Dr. Mason. I appreciate it. And thank you for tuning into Unapologetically Meg.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be the third one. So one of the very
I know, number 3 in the books.
All right. Excellent.
Thank you. We'll talk soon. Bye, Dr. Mason.
Thanks for tuning in to Unapologetically Meg. If this episode resonated with you, we'd love for you to share it with someone who's ready to live cleaner, bolder, and more intentionally. You can follow Meg on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Organically Meg. And don't forget to check the show notes for links, resources, and other ways to stay connected. Until next time, stay well, stay unapologetic, and remember, it's not about perfect, it's about better.